Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Samara from coachingconsciouscreators.com. Happy New Year, guys. So I've been on a bit of a hiatus, and that's because I was busy living in the manifestations that were successful from 2019. I was just overwhelmed with manifestation after manifestation coming into my 3D. So I was moving, I was dealing with a lot more work at my new job, which I manifested. And so with all the holiday festivities and everything that was going on with that, I just decided to go ahead and give myself a bit of a break. But I was thinking of you all the entire time, and I cannot wait to get back on here and tell you about all of the exciting things that manifested from my 2019 vision book that I did. So that's what this video is about. I want to share with you guys all the things in my vision book that came to pass, and I'm going to do a video as a follow-up to this about what makes vision boards effective. So, doing vision boards is cool now. All of us were invited probably to 3 or 4 vision board parties for 2020 already. And sometimes you'll see that people have great success with them. Everything on their vision board came to pass, or even they throw stuff on there, haphazardly and forget about it, and boom, there it is, 6 months, a year, 2 years later. And sometimes people make vision boards all the time and nothing happens. And if that's you, the video that I'm going to make about what makes a vision board effective is going to be for you. So stay tuned for that. If you want to know when that comes out, subscribe, hit that notification bell button, and I will be delivering that video within the next few days. But this video is all about all the things that I manifested in my vision book from 2019. So I thought I was going to be able to do this on the fly, but there were so many things that I had to just take a few minutes and sit and write them all down. So if you see me looking down at my lap, it's because that's where I have my notes with all of the different manifestations that came to pass for me in 2019. So I'll start with one that I didn't include in this vision book, but it was on one of my previous vision boards. And this also leads me into another topic. But anyway, this car that I'm sitting in, that I did a video on how I manifested, was really the first thing that I manifested in this streak of manifestation successes. So I just wanted to bring that up to you guys once again, because being in the car and knowing that I intentionally manifested it and having it be the biggest manifestation I had done up to that point was really a catalyst in making all of the manifestations, or all the intentions I set in my 2019 vision book, come to pass. The other thing I manifested, and you guys saw the video on this, was my trip to Disney back in September. So in my vision book, I had actually put a picture of Magic Kingdom and different areas of the park in the vision book. I also put some Disney cruise pictures in there, which we're going to take this year, me and my family. But that happened in a way that I could never have planned, would not have wanted to plan. It was one of those things that illustrates the importance of letting go and trusting the universe. But anyway, that was one of the things I put in my vision book that manifested for 2019. And I keep saying vision book because I don't do vision boards. First of all, I need huge ones when I do them because I have so many things that I have intentions around. And second, I don't want to have to put them on my wall space. I'm 37 years old and it's no longer adorable to have an unframed poster board on my wall. So now I just do a scrapbook, and I put in the cardstock, and I have a theme for each page. Sometimes I'll have a theme over 2 pages. But anyway, that's why I keep saying vision book. Anyway, so I manifested my car, luxury SUV, the trip to Disney. In my vision book for 2019, I also had a page around a happy marriage. So one of the things we have to think about when creating vision boards and vision books is that the intention that we have when we put the images in the book are what will manifest. Not necessarily, sometimes the exact images manifest. Like in the case of my Disney trip, I went to Magic Kingdom and I had a picture of the Magic Kingdom castle. But sometimes, I did a page about marriage, but I'm in no way in a position or ready to be married to anyone, or I wasn't for 2019. So really the intention was to bring husband material into my life, and that definitely manifested in 2019. And not just with one person, but the types of men that I started dating in 2019 were all husband material, and that has not been my pattern. So, yeah, I've had some very successful dating relationships, and not everything is perfect. For example, I would write out lists of what I wanted in a person. And I've done this more than once because it always works. If you watch any video on how people manifested a partner, I'd say 99% of those people made a list. So I would make a list. I would meet a person that met all the criteria, and I would experience that person. And then I would say, oh, I should have put this on the list. Or, oh, I thought I wanted that, but I don't really want that. And so I spent the year kind of refining what it is that I'm looking for in a partner. And I had so many beautiful dating experiences. Had a few hiccups in there, but for the most part, my intention to attract husband material into my life manifested. And yeah, I'm currently seeing someone who is a pretty good candidate. And more on that later, because it has to do with one of my other manifestations. So I had a page on femininity. So femininity, I believe, in today's society has been swept under the rug. Although we have like all of these unrealistic beauty standards, we have all these cosmetic procedures being done, we have all this access to makeup that can literally make you look like a different person, you can throw on any hair that you want. Like, there's no limit to being able to modify your external appearance to look more feminine. But the art of femininity, which has to do with, seduction and magnetism and softness and receiving, has largely been ignored. And women are encouraged to take on really masculine traits, which are not bad, but it just ignores the strength and the power in femininity. So I've always been one to be ambitious and execute and take on these really masculine qualities, which are wonderful. But in 2019, I wanted to foster and to cultivate my femininity and work on my magnetism. And that's definitely something that has manifested for me in 2019. I'm barely recognizable to myself, and not just in appearance. Like, I worked on being more feminine in my appearance, but also in the way that I communicate with people. Like, I rarely argue now. I mean, of course, I'm not perfect, and I do, get into heated discussions with people occasionally, but just my whole approach when it comes to interacting and building relationships is a lot more open and flowy, and allows a lot more room for being open and vulnerable with my emotions and all of those. I mean, this is a topic that I could create hundreds of videos about, but all of that stuff combined has increased my magnetism as a person. And so that's another thing that has manifested for me in 2019. Of course, you guys know I manifested my new job. I don't know if I said that already, because this is like my third attempt at making this video, but I love it. Like, I had a big image in my vision book. It was just, I heart my job. And it was huge. It took up almost the entire page. And I think it really impacted my belief. That's another thing about creating vision boards and vision books, is that you have to choose images and words that evoke in you the feeling of already having what you desire. That is the most important thing. You could put all the images you want, but if you look at them and you don't feel anything, if you don't feel a tinge of excitement, anticipation, choose another image, because that's the whole point. And when I review my vision books, I love flipping those pages and having those feelings excited inside of me. So anyway, I had a big image that said, I love my job. And it had some pictures of, my office environment and things like that. And that came to be. So that's another thing from my 2019 vision book that manifested. More cash flow. So I had a page in there that says exactly how much money I would need to pay off my debt. I'm not yet debt free, which is the intention. I think I actually had some wording that said debt free in my vision book, but I am in a position now to be debt free within the next year or so, not much longer than that. And the way that was orchestrated was beyond my wildest imagination. Like, I would not have been able to put that together. And again, it illustrates the importance of trusting the universe, trusting that the universe will remember the intentions that you set, the details that you express. That's why it's so important to express your desires, to get in touch with your desires, because just putting them out there and acknowledging them activates your creator energy, and the universe just takes it from there. I did a whole video on the movie Aladdin and how the genie in that movie parallels with how the universe interacts with us. It doesn't execute for us unless we say execute. We can have all the desire that we want in our heart, but if we don't, and it's not that we have to say it out loud or make a vision board, but if we don't acknowledge that we have the desire, if we don't say, yes, I want this and I believe that I can have this, then the universe doesn't respond to us. But as soon as we do, we may not even remember. That's why it's important to focus on your happiness on a daily basis, because if you're focused on what makes you happy, that's the equivalent of putting the intentions out there for the universe. And the next thing you know, you're focusing on happiness and deciding what makes you happy, and things just start coming into your life. You may throw an intention out there just in a moment of loving yourself and forget all about it, and the universe will bring it to you. So yeah, more cash flow on my way to being debt free. A trip to Vegas. So I did not go to Vegas in 2019, but the trip is on the calendar for 2020 with the guy that I mentioned, who is, a good candidate for a husband. So he actually planned the trip for us to go to Vegas. And another thing that I had, like in my vision book, I have a picture of the hotel I want to stay at, the activities I want to participate in. And so he planned the trip to Vegas for us, and then he came back and said, hey, do you want to hike the Grand Canyon, which is one of the pictures that I had in my vision book. So that is in the works. And let me just say that I think whatever we put on a vision board, whatever we put in a vision book, will eventually come to pass in some way, in some form. So I made a 2019 vision book, but the expectation wasn't that everything would happen in 2019, even though 80% of the stuff did happen in 2019. And I created a book for 2020, but I believe that everything that I put in these books that I plan to create on an annual basis will eventually come into my 3D reality, because I have set them in motion. So yeah, the Vegas trip was one of the pages that I had in there. I also had a Disney cruise in there with my kids on it. And I also set an intention to be just a better mom, like just be the kind of mom that I've always wanted to be, and the kind of mom that I know my kids need. And kids love you unconditionally. It's not like my kids were complaining, but I just want to, since I've been privileged to be raising them and influencing them, I just wanted to be a better mom. And so I had the Disney cruise and for them, and the better mom in there. And things have gotten so much better as far as my confidence and my ability to mother my children well. And also, we're planning to go on a Disney cruise this year. It's in the works. And so those things manifested. I may just go back and edit this video so that I can show you guys the images themselves as I talk about the manifestations. So I had a page in my vision book about being a good manifester, like being a conscious creator. And so I literally had the words master manifester in there, and certified conscious creation coach, all of these things that indicated that I would just become an expert in this area, and that I would have great success. And that's exactly what's been going on this year. Like, I'm almost finished with my book, The Manifestation Toolkit. As soon as I am, you guys will be the first to know. But it basically contains all the techniques that I've found success with in manifesting. And so, like I said, I've had great success this year, just like I put in my vision book. So for 2020, and I've already created my vision book for 2020, I want manifestation to become effortless, to become, something I don't have to think about anymore. And that will be edition 2 of the Manifestation Toolkit, like how to automate these processes. So the book that I'm writing now will have the how, the when, the where for each of the tools that I use. the book that I'm planning to come out with as a follow-up will have, how do I change who I am, essentially? How do I make these things a part of my subconscious reality so that they bring themselves into my 3D? So anyway, I had the page on being a successful manifester, and that definitely came to pass. And lastly, but definitely not least, the dream house manifestation. So I did a video called Darkness Before Dawn. And that video was actually inspired from an experience that I was having at that time, which was trying to get a dream home. So I had an experience at my previous home where I didn't feel safe and it was time to move. Like, I had been there for 12 years and I was like, it's time for me to get this dream house. And in my vision book at the beginning of the year, I had put that in there. And I was running into all these obstacles, but I had enough experience with enough successful manifestations to understand the pattern of the darkness before dawn, to understand that, you know, if you have a lot of subconscious beliefs around something, like if you don't believe you deserve it, or if you believe it's hard to obtain, then you can sometimes manifest obstacles. And it doesn't mean you won't get the manifestation. It just means you may have to go through that darkness before the dawn. And the key there is, even though you've manifested all these obstacles, keep your eye on the prize. Let your work be not trying to knock the obstacles out of the way, but keeping your eyes on what it is that you're after and knowing that it's already yours despite the obstacles. Understanding that it's just your subconscious mind manifesting other things that you've planted along with your desire for the thing, the big thing, or the thing that you think is too big. Anyway, I did that video when I was going through that, and just days later, all the obstacles were removed and we closed on a brand new house. And one of the techniques that I had used to manifest that house was burning a bay leaf. So right after the incident in my previous house where I felt unsafe, I wrote on the bay leaf, safety and new house. So the new house that we have is actually behind a gate. It's in a neighborhood that's much more safe. You know, my daughter gets to go to a new school district, which she needed because she was having issues in the previous one. And it's still convenient to my job and my son's daycare. I mean, it's literally perfect in every single way. And I think I talked about this in one of my old videos when I was trying to manifest a luxury home. And ultimately, I canceled the manifestation because at that time I couldn't relocate. Like, I had watched a video of a house that I fell in love with and ended up at that house in a position to move forward. But I decided not to go that route. But anyway, in that video, I talk about how I was like, what if I could get a house that was already decorated? Because I don't enjoy going to Home Goods and spending $40 on one knickknack and having to do that 300 times for my whole house. And so I wanted a house that had already had a professional come in and decorate it. And that was part of this manifestation. Like, this house was mostly staged. I'd say it was about 85% staged. And so it was just beautifully decorated already, and we got it just as it was. And so that was my favorite manifestation of the year, because it really, like, being in this car, like, I drive this car every single day. And so it's a daily reminder of how I create my own reality. The same with the house. When I wake up in that house every day, knowing that I manifested that, it strengthens my confidence in my ability to create the reality that I want. And I believe now that I'm at a point where creating my reality is more real to me than anything that already exists. And so it just, this year's success in creating exactly what I wanted just took me to another level of, you know, happiness. And not happiness because I have the things, but happiness because I know that I can have anything. That I can even manifest a mood or a way of being, like the femininity, or I can, you know, I just have complete access. I won't call it control, but it's access to anything that I can imagine. So yeah, that's all I have on the list. And like I said, I think I'm going to go back and actually, you know, give you guys some images of what it was I put in my 2019 vision book, and also show you what I have in my 2020 vision book. I'm going to be bold with it now since I'm so confident, and I'm going to show you what I put in my book for 2020, and then come back at the end of 2020 or the beginning of 2021 and show you what actually manifested and came to pass. So you guys will be able to share in the anticipation and the excitement with me, and hopefully you'll follow suit and create vision boards, books, apps, whatever you want for yourselves, and we can exchange success stories at the end of 2020. So that's all I have for the topic itself. But one other thing I wanted to mention is that I'm about to start email coaching. So a lot of you, even during my hiatus, were reaching out and asking questions, and a lot of you want to stay engaged. And right now, all I have is the one-on-one coaching programs. And because, of my limited time, I have to charge a pretty high premium for those. So for those of you who are interested but don't want to go that route, or you just have like a one-off request, I'm introducing email coaching. So look out for that. Again, click that notification bell so that you can find out exactly when that's launched, but that's in the works. And I also sent out a mass email to all of my subscribers on my website. So, a lot of you are subscribed to this channel, but if you go and subscribe at coachingconsciouscreators.com and leave your email, then you'll get things like the free goal setting kit that I sent out. So the goal setting kit is not just any goal setting kit. It's not just something where you write down, okay, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. You actually go through the process of digging deep, figuring out what it is that you truly, truly value. Like you dig, you ask yourself these questions that help you figure out what excites you. A lot of us are so conditioned to just follow what we've been programmed to do that we're not even in touch with what we truly value. So this goal setting kit first walks you through understanding your authentic self and values, and then it forces you to pare down to just a few big goals for the year that reflect those values. And the first time I used this technique that I'm sharing with all of you was back in 2018, I believe. And I executed on all my major goals. I wrote, actually it was my third book, but I had set out to write that book in 2018, and I finished that by the end of 2018. There were some other business goals that I achieved and personal goals that I achieved using this method. And so it will really give you confidence in your ability to execute on your goals, because a lot of us start the year and we have all of these goals in mind. It's really cool to say, oh, I'm going to work out and lose this weight, or I'm going to, do this in my business or do this in my career. And then it fades by like February or March. Well, this goal setting kit will help you to create goals that stick because they're a part of who you are. And they just, again, like we talked about earlier, allow you to express your intention, but it's your true, authentic intention based on your deepest values. So if you guys are interested in that, you can find that on my website, coachingconsciouscreators.com, under free stuff. But again, at the beginning of the year, I'll be sending out new versions of that. And throughout the year, I'll be sending you guys freebies and tools and things that I use that help me successfully manifest anything I want, give it shape, give it form. And it's called a goal setting kit, and it sounds really formal, but really it's an intention setting kit, because I find that just going through the exercise creates enough momentum to carry me through the year, whether I continue to be meticulous about recording this step and that step and this step, and I got to do this thing, this thing, this thing. Even if I'm not perfect at that some months in my planner, I still find that momentum carries me through the end of the year, because those 5 goals that I'm left with at the end of that exercise are etched into my subconscious. They become a part of who I am because of the method used to get to that point. So again, check it out, coachingconsciouscreators.com, free stuff. And that's all I have for you guys today. Please like this video, subscribe, click that notification bell if you want to hear about, my 2020 vision book, if you want to understand how I'm able to make those vision boards and vision books effective, and share this video if you think that it will help someone. Thank you guys for watching.